Newsnow is brought to you by the Bank of Guam, the People's Bank, Docomo Pacific. Island-wide, worldwide, the choice is clear. From the Pacific News Center in Hagåtña, Guam, here's Clint Ridgell and Janella Carrera with Betsy Brown and Roselle Romanes. PNC Sports with Blake Watson. And weather with Joanna O. With your news now.
Half a day, good evening, and thanks for tuning in to the Pacific News Center. I'm Clint Ridgell.
And I'm Janella Carrera. Thanks for tuning in. Your top story tonight, rescue units recovered the body of the missing 24-year-old man who was swept out to sea on Sunday. Coast Guard Command Duty Officer Lee Putnam told PNC that the body was found near Hawaiian Rock in Manila at about 1 this afternoon. The Guam Fire Department, the Coast Guard, and a Navy helicopter searched for the man since he was reported missing on Sunday. GFD spokesman Lieutenant Ed Artero said they received the 911 call of a distressed swimmer at about 1:30 in the afternoon around the Marble Cave area. Guam Memorial Hospital spokeswoman June Perez said the body was taken to the island's medical examiner. No identity has been confirmed as of news time.
Senator Mike Nicholas has filed a Freedom of Information Act request to find out who was given retro payments and how much they received as a result of Public Law 32-208. After filing this request, his office was vandalized, and he says it's possible that the vandalism is related to his FOIA request.
Last week, Senator Mike Nicholas donated his $14,000 retro payment to Sanctuary Inc. So far, he's the only elected official to give up his retro pay. This week, he has submitted a Freedom of Information Act, or FOIA request, to find out exactly who was given retro pay and how much each person was given.
Governor's office, legislature, various cabinet members in the government. We also have some entities like the Guam Economic Development Authority, as well as the Public Broadcasting Corporation. We sent to all of the entities that were on the list that received retro payments.
PNC was told that the governor, lieutenant governor, and cabinet members received a total of $880,000 in retro pay, while the legislature received a total of $400,000. This means that at least over $1.2 million has been spent on retro pay for elected and appointed officials. However, specific amounts for each individual have not been made public yet.
And the reason why I also FOIA the legislature is that it's consistent across the board. I'm not going after any one entity. I just want to find out everybody who got a retro payment, and I'm asking for it on the same way that I'm asking for everybody else.
Nevertheless, Sir Nicholas believes this FOIA request may have upset some people. His office was vandalized last night. A rock was thrown through one of his windows. Although he has no proof that it's related to his FOIA request for retro pay, Sir Nicholas says the timing of the vandalism is suspicious.
Well, I really hope that the two are not related, but it's just very unfortunate that someone will commit an act of vandalism during this season. It's really sad. I know that there's a number of people who may be upset about the stance that we're taking here, but it's not going to deter us. We're doing it for the right reasons. And
the public hearing for Senator Frank Uggan Jr.'s bill to repeal raises for senators will be held on the 29th. Senator Nicholas says he hopes the legislature will amend that bill to repeal raises for the governor, lieutenant governor, and cabinet members as well.
While 2 people were arrested in the Cooler Gate scandal, the case is not over yet. More people may be arrested. Yesterday, Catherine and John Pareto were taken to the Hagåtña precinct and charged by Guam police for making false statements. Police say Catherine lied when she claimed in a signed affidavit that she had seen a cooler full of pre-March ballots for the Calva Tenorio team on Election Day. The Paretos submitted the affidavit to the Guam Election Commission, but when the affidavit was entertained during a GEC meeting, Catherine rescinded her letter, saying she never actually wrote it and that it was actually prepared by Bernadette Stern Meno, a known Democratic Party supporter. In fact, Meno confirmed she wrote the letter. She says she wrote it based on what Catherine Pareto told her. Police Chief Fred Berdalio tells PNC that the investigation will continue into other possible election fraud. However, he could not tell us who specifically police are looking into. He says if anyone has information about this or other similar cases, to contact Guam Police.
A man who was previously convicted of sexually molesting a minor and who was not allowed a new trial by the Supreme Court is now asking the Supreme Court to reconsider its decision. Back in January of 2013, Adam Messier was found guilty of second-degree criminal sexual conduct as a first-degree felony, fourth-degree criminal sexual conduct as a misdemeanor, and child abuse as a misdemeanor as well. He was convicted of sexually abusing his 14-year-old babysitter, but Messier went back to the Superior Court asking for a new trial, and the Superior Court agreed. They granted him a new trial. The AG's office, however, took the case up to the Supreme Court, asking the higher court to reverse the lower court's decision to grant a new trial, and the AG's office won. The Supreme Court ordered the lower court not to give Messier a new trial. Now, through his attorney Howard Trapp, Messier is asking the Supreme Court to reconsider its decision. He believes the Superior Court did not make an error when it chose to give him a new trial. Messier contends there was not enough evidence presented during his 2013 trial to convict him of sexual abuse.
And a man who works at an auto repair shop has been arrested for sexually molesting a female customer. 51-year-old Eliseo Jacinto Tongol was charged with third-degree criminal sexual conduct and other sexual conduct charges for fondling a woman who brought her car into the shop for repair. The victim told police that it happened inside of an office as she and Tongol were discussing the cost of repairs to her car. At first, the victim said Tongol slapped her buttocks. She initially thought it was an accident, but police say Tongol continued to touch her private parts and asked her how much of a discount she wanted. When Tongol was interviewed by police, he said that it was an accident, but that it was also consensual.
Just a few days after Deacon Steve Martinez was practically fired as a deacon of the church, Archbishop Anthony Apron has decided to reinstate him. In a letter Deacon Steve Martinez wrote to his supporters, he announced that just a few days after he was censured by the church as a deacon, he was reinstated. However, Deacon Martinez notes that he's not out of the woods yet. Instead, Archbishop Anthony Apron gave him a new deadline of January the 19th to cut ties with the Concerned Catholics of Guam, a new organization whose mission it is to investigate the Archdiocese of Agana and to provide a forum for concerned Catholics who feel that they have been mistreated by the church. Last week, after failing to meet a 24-hour deadline to leave the group, Deacon Martinez accepted Archbishop Apron's punishment. And now, Deacon Martinez's sudden reinstatement and a new deadline appears to coincide with big events also slated for January. The Archdiocese is expecting a pastoral visit from 3 Vatican officials next month. The Papal Nuncio Archbishop Martin Krebs, the Secretary for the Vatican Congregation for Evangelization of Peoples, Archbishop Savio Hontai Fai, and Father Tedwes Nowak.
For the second time in a month, 2 Russian nuclear-capable bombers have circled Guam. On December 13th, 2 Russian Bear Tu-95 bombers flew around the island. The U.S. military did not scramble any jets to meet the bombers, as they determined there was no need to. The United States Pacific Command in Hawaii released the following statement, quote, "We can confirm that 2 aircraft circumnavigated Guam on December 13th. The aircraft were flying safely in international airspace and in accordance with international norms. As such, the decision was made to not intercept them." 2 of the same type of Russian bombers circled Guam back on November 13th. They were not intercepted then either, as military officials said, much like they did this time, that they were flying safely in international airspace. Russian bombers have flown near Guam numerous times in the past. In fact, according to news files, in February of 2013, 2 Russian Tu-95 bombers actually flew directly over Guam, causing the Air Force to scramble 15 jets to track them until they left U.S. airspace.
All right, well, stay tuned because we have Condit Christmas coming up. Right now, let's check in with Rosel Romanes, who tells us what else is ahead on Newsnow.
Do you have caramel apples in your home? If you do, public health says throw them out and don't eat them because they might contain a bacteria that causes listeriosis. Find out more when Newsnow returns.